So we get this text this morning from Meredith. Got me thinking about summer and you. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio, because you got summer vacations, summer plans, kids at summer camp maybe because COVID restrictions have lifted in a lot of places.
Oh, yeah, they have. Meredith said when she was growing up, think about this summer. As she was growing up, she was the daughter of a summer camp director, and so they lived where that camp was held all year long. In her backyard, she had horses, football and baseball fields, a ropes course, bonfires, carnival nights. They had 6 boat docks at her disposal, a blob, which I don't know what that is, and a water slide, and even all of their meals were prepared by the camp staff.
She says she doesn't know what a blob is. It's a big, gigantic float in the lake.
Okay.
A big tower that you climb up that's like, I don't know, a story high.
Yeah.
As high as a house. And then you jump off of that, land on the block while somebody's on the other end of that float.
Okay.
As soon as the person lands, the other person goes up in the air and into the water.
I have never done that, but it's
quite amazing.
It must happen this summer. I have to find a blob
Can
and
you
do
imagine?
this summer.
So Lenny is here at 800-447-7234. Lenny, you say that your parents, very similar to Meredith's, had some kind of thing for you?
My perk was my father. He worked when we lived in Miami for United Airlines in air cargo. So he used to take me to the tarmac and drive me around when I was a little kid. That progressed to him sometimes having cargo that was never picked up, like a baby ocelot or a little barn owl or something like that. He'd bring home for days till we found out where it belonged.
The baby ocelot? You got to bring home for a couple of days?
Yeah, because they left it in air cargo and nobody picked it up, and the guys were feeding it, he said. So he brought it home. He knew I loved cats, and he brought home an owl once, and, we found it homes, a proper home, being wildlife. And so it was wonderful. I have so many great memories of early years of flying as a child, both with my family and alone on trips we couldn't have taken if he did not work for the airline.
Rob and Liz,
his morning crew.
Haley said her Nana would come home. I guess she lived with them. She worked third shift in the emergency room, and she would come home and tell them CPR adventures. I guess she would tell them some of the things that were happening in the emergency room and made it very exciting. She also brought them X-ray backing papers so that they could color on them. I don't know what an X-ray backing paper is.
I was going to ask the very same question.
Yeah, but she said they would, I don't know, maybe they would sketch out the X-ray and they could see it. I have no idea how it works. But evidently to Haley, it was pretty cool.
And she colored on them.
Not
a bad deal. Renee's here at 800-447-7234. What about your parents, Renee?
Actually, it was both of my parents. They worked at Michelin and retired from Michelin over 30 years. But a big perk that they always had was that we could go to amusement parks a couple of times a year. They would have like these huge Michelin days. And we would get free lunch, like barbecues, and get to be in the park with just Michelin folks. And it was awesome.
I'm wondering, did your parents meet at Michelin?
They did. They did.
Ooh.
They were actually on the line. My parents both started on the line checking tires, and over the 30-something years that they were there, they both worked up to be pretty important Michelin people. My dad did two-wheel for all over the Southeast, and my mom was a computer operator. My mom went back to school. So Michelin did a lot for my family.
Rob and Liz,
his morning crew.
6-year-old girl had a gun in her backpack, brought it to school. Some people got hurt. And while that little girl was holding that gun, this teacher went over to her, was able to get the gun out of her hand so calmly, and then hugged her tightly and comforted her until the police arrived.
Yeah, she was actually getting ready to, it was at a middle school. I think the girl was like 11 or 12, but they were at a middle school getting ready to do their final exams, and she heard shots outside of the classroom. And of course, she got her kids to safety and told them, when we get this door open, I need y'all to run as fast as you can. Got them out. But as she was getting her students out, she saw this little girl. She saw some students, and she saw the girl with the gun. And she said, I couldn't wrap my brain around, this is a little girl who has something horrific going on in her life that she turned to this. And she said, all I saw was a baby standing there with a gun. And she went over and she hugged her and she talked to her very calmly and she kind of stroked her arm. And as she stroked her arm, she got a little closer to her hand, and then got a hold of the gun and kind of pulled it out of her hand. And the girl didn't fight her at all. She just let it happen. They hugged each other. And then when the police came, they handcuffed her, and the girl didn't fight at all. She just sort of melted into this teacher's arms and then gave up to the police.
She felt the love. And who knows what she was going on deep down on the inside. The good news is the 3 people are going to be okay that she hurt. Yeah, so there's no fatalities. Nobody passed away. That's good news. But the way that teacher reacted and saw that little girl as a little girl, as a person, as a human, just spoke volumes to me. Right. She even says, I hope people will forgive her. She's just a baby. She's just a 6th grader.
Right, exactly. And even people in the community said that is who this woman is. That is who this teacher is. That she goes out of herself to make sure that people around her are taken care of. And that's what she did to a student she didn't even know that was going through just something horrific to make it stop.
Listen, Krista, if you don't win Teacher of the Year award in Idaho where you are, I don't know what will qualify you to win that award. Absolutely amazing.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
I think things have been locked down for so long. It's been hard to fly, especially people who want to visit if they have family in London or business in London. And JetBlue just said, hey, we're going to open back up flights to London again,
so good.
Which is nice. So one's going to be in August. That'll go to Heathrow. And then Gatwick's the other airport, right?
I think so.
So
yes.
that one's gonna open up in mid-September. So at the end of summer, getting into fall, looks like that you'll be able to fly to London again, at least on JetBlue.
Well, and I saw that several of the European nations are starting to open back up. Not all of them, but it's kind of a slow open. But it's still good to see that we're gonna get to do more things very soon.
Because Liz had planned. At one point during this summer, your guys were going to go to Paris, right?
Yeah, at Christmas.
Oh, at Christmas you're going to Paris. Oh,
yes.
bougie.
No.
Christmas time in Paris.
Look, I'm still planning on it. It's still on my calendar. There are no tickets, obviously, that have been purchased because we weren't able to.
Where would you stay?
Well, we were going to go between Paris and London, so we were still doing research.
So you're what, Germany?
No, you never know. I mean, it's just a little hop, skip, and a jump. It is Europe. It's like traveling around the Carolinas and Georgia, kind of. Not really.
No, it's not that close.
Not that close, but I'm saying it's not.
It's not a 5-hour drive.
No, it's not. But, it's not too far out of the realm of possibility. So I doubt we'll go to Germany, but it'll be London. And I know this sounds very bougie, but it's not. Between London and Paris. Because you can take a train and it's not that long of a trip. 4 hours, maybe.
Never been.
Maybe.
Well, never been.
I've been to Paris, but we were there for 22 hours on a
train?
No.
Plane?
A layover. I couldn't think of the word.
That would be an airport?
Yeah. Actually, no. We got into the city center of Paris. We took the train into Paris and we're there for 22 hours.
Quite the layover.
It was. It was fun. I was exhausted, but totally worth it.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Olivia absolutely adores her great-grandparents. As a matter of fact, she calls them Nana and Pop Pop. I love that.
I do.
Nana and Pop Pop. They had fun together all the time pre-COVID. So she wants a reconnection to remember. It's Rob and Liz on His Radio.
And I love that Olivia texted the word reconnection to 800-447-7234 because she heard that His Radio, that we are going to make somebody's reconnection happen. And she said, I want to see Nana and Pop Pop for sure. And she told us that little story. And so hopefully that can be something that happens.
Or maybe happen for you. If you have a reconnection to remember, what would it even look like? Would you let us know today?
Yeah, you can do that at hisradio.com, the My His Radio app, or again, text the word reconnection to 800-447-7234.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
$2.5 million for a town is cheap. It's all in perspective, but it is Nipton, California, and they're selling the entire town. 25 about people live there, so not a huge town.
Easy enough to manage.
Right. It's about 80 acres. And so I tried to look that up. An average size of a Walmart store in the parking lot is about 5 acres.
5 acres. So you do that, carry the 5, take away the 1. So that's like 16 Walmarts.
16 Walmarts.
Including the parking lot and the store. Okay.
Yes, is the size of this town. You get a general store involved in that. There's a restaurant. There's a hotel that has 5 rooms, so a very small hotel. 5 cabins, some camping spots. You got a place to put your RV if you have one. But I think not a bad investment. I mean, you got to look at the economy of the maybe surrounding towns and see what's going on there.
How far is it away from a big city?
It is not that far. Goodness, I think it was maybe 50 miles from the Nevada line. So I don't think there's a lot of big cities there.
You said the line. Now you didn't tell me a city.
Between California and Nevada. But no, I don't know of any big cities that it's near.
Because then you'd find some work.
Yeah, because I think it's quite a ways from, say, San Bernardino and Los Angeles, and it's toward Nevada, but well enough away from Vegas.
Is it Nevada or Nevada?
I think I said it both ways. So
you did.
Nevada and Nevada.
You got it covered.
Nobody's going to call me wrong there.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Really disturbing when you think that they're actually people, real people like you and me, who think they can take on a grizzly bear and beat them.
They do. I think there was a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio where he took on a grizzly bear out in Alaska somewhere and he won, I guess.
It's called a movie.
A movie, right. Revenant or something. I don't know. I've never seen it. But anyway, I think that's why certain people think, I could do that.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. I don't know who these people are. I know you're smart. But there are some people, I don't understand the logic in thinking that they can take on a grizzly bear. This is out in the news.
Right.
Why is this a news thing? You don't take on a grizzly bear. I mean, I even know that, and I'm not that smart.
But there was a whole list of animals that they said, okay, how many Americans think they can take on this animal and win? And it was everything from a rat. That was like most people thought they could, like 70-something% or whatever. Something crazy. I wouldn't take on a rat. I wouldn't try. I would not go after a rat. Kangaroo was also on the list, and I thought, okay, I could take on a kangaroo. I don't think so. Now that I really think about
Wild animals. Come on.
Right.
I mean, think it through.
Well, even a big dog, like a domesticated dog, was on the list.
Was an elephant on the list?
An elephant was on.
Are you serious?
Yes, and like a lot of people.
These things are tons in weight.
Listen, people thought they could take on a lion and a gorilla. A lion and a gorilla. Really?
I really think people are smarter than that. They're kidding
so
around.
too,
They've got to be kidding around. This is not real.
I think people think they could
No.
take on.
Not a wild animal. There's instincts that wild animals have that people don't have.
Okay, maybe they put themselves in the situation of, if I were backed into a corner and I'm out on a hike and a bear comes up, do I think I could get away? Maybe that's what they thought. But I don't think it was like mano-a-mano in a ring somewhere, gloves up, ready to
ding,
go.
Ding, ding, Rocky theme song going.
I think the grizzly
don't know.
got it.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Ray said, when I was a little boy, my parents took me to see some movie called Grizzly. Has not been able to go camping ever since.
Oh, no. Go camp. Ray, go camping. It's okay.
But he's like, he basically is saying, I know I cannot take on a grizzly. Steve said, did these people take on the grizzlies with the bare hands, or did they have some sort of weaponry to kind of equal out the odds
No,
a little bit?
I'm thinking, fist and cuffs.
I think it is mono.
That's what I'm thinking.
So
Teresa said there was a rat.
Yeah.
And they had to take on the rat. Where was the rat, Teresa?
In my greenhouse this winter, and it ate every plant I had and I could not stop it. So that was a little rat.
What'd you wind up doing with the rat?
I didn't want to, but we finally had to buy the, great big green rat square thing.
Is that called a mousetrap?
No, the mousetrap didn't even work.
So what's
he was
this?
Smarter than that.
What's this big square thing you're talking about?
It's a block of rat poison.
Ah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that worked. He toted off a huge rat trap. He just toted it off.
I just got that in my brain.
He's like, hey, I got some cheese. Charcuterie board. Hello.
Yeah.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Wanted to get involved in rat conversations.
which is so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've never had a rat in our house. We had a mouse in the garage, but not.
The couple of houses ago we lived in had a rat once. Then our dog went chasing after it.
I bet.
Oh, it was crazy.
Oh, good.
And then you feel like dirty people because there's a rat in the house.
You do, but no, they're just looking for food, man. They are looking for the best thing on the block.
So we had great food,
Exactly.
evidently.
There you go.
In there. Sherry, what about you? 800-447-7234.
I came down in the middle of the night, and there was one of those big, huge dwarf rats, whatever you want to call them. I swear this thing was at least 2 feet long from his head to his tail. I'm telling you, I saw that thing, and I jumped on top of the flippin' dining room table and screamed at the top of my lungs for my husband to come down there and get that thing.
How did your husband take it on?
Well, I think my scream must have really scared it, because by the time he got down there, it was gone.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Few more weeks, and then the kids are out of school for summer. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. Good thing, too, that the kids are getting out for summer, because now, since some restrictions have lifted, you can do something this summer, as opposed to last summer when you sat around at the house or found a cabin in the middle of nowhere that there was, you could drop the mask and be out in the woods and stay away from people. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, road trips, I was thinking about taking those road trips, because we're all going to be doing some of those over the next couple of months, I would think.
Some people might, yeah.
Even just a short day trip. And, I was thinking back when, especially my daughter was little, she wasn't the best traveler. She would get very bored. And
what'd you do to pass the time?
So I had a little song that I came up with. There was a pop song back in the day, Kiss Me. I don't know if you remember that
Sixpence
song.
None the Richer.
Yeah.
We played it on his radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I had this little stuffed pig. It was pink. And I would hold the pig and I would just sing, "Kiss me, don't eat my butt for breakfast."
What?
Well, it was like bacon.
Don't eat my what?
My bottom.
Your what?
My butt. I'm sorry, but I would sing that. Don't eat my butt for breakfast.
Okay, so, and why?
Because it was bacon, and I was just trying to.
Oh, you had a pig. I get it.
The stuffed pig.
The stuffed pig.
And so my husband made me sing that for years after, just like.
Evidently, he liked it.
Oh, he would be like, sing that little song. And then Taylor would say, sing that little song. I want to hear it. And then I would sing it, and then the boys heard it, and so it was a thing. And
Taylor made you a grandma. How does she feel about this today? If she would hear you
she would
on the
love
radio singing this.
singing that song, I think she would be okay with it.
I think all shades of, embarrassment. Mom.
Listen, I'm okay with that.
You just said that word on the radio.
I know.
You said that word on his radio.
I know.
On his, you said that word on his radio.
Bottom, okay.
You didn't say bottom.
Okay, booty.
You didn't say booty. You said another B word.
Tiny.
Oh, my. Well, okay. Well, I want to flip this a little bit. Unlike Liz, how did you entertain your kids in the car? How do you do that? Road trips coming up.
Yeah, you got to pass the time, entertain those kiddos.
Well, she's singing about bottoms. 800-447-7234.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Summer vacay is coming up. Rob and Liz, his morning crew, his radio. When you take the road trips, how do you entertain your kids? At 800-447-7234.
Yeah, I used to sing a little song to my daughter with a little stuffed pig about not eating it tiny for breakfast.
That's not how you said it.
That's not. Here's how it is. It was.
Let's preface it.
Okay.
Because they're not going to catch the people I don't think are going to catch what you're
Not
singing.
necessarily.
Sixpence None the Richer, a song called Kiss Me back in the day.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I would say, kiss me, don't eat my butt for breakfast. And then, I would just make up lyrics and sing about the pig and all this stuff. And she loved it.
And her reason why she said hiney.
Yes, is because it's bacon.
And bacon.
Right.
So don't eat.
My hiney for breakfast.
Okay. Well, okay.
Yeah.
So that's how she entertains her kids.
Yes.
Driving down the road in the car on a very long vacation.
I sing to them.
Yeah. She sings that to them. And that was a #1 hit in her family, and
Yes.
her husband still requests it
Always request.
today. Okay, Carrie's here at 800-447-7234. What game did you play with your kids in the car, Carrie?
I wanna. And how you play that is you kind of build the dreamed house, land, whatever. So if we saw a farmhouse, car, animals, we would say, I want, and we would just play that the whole trip, or we would play the ABC game.
I love how you do that with the kids. How did you start this tradition?
My parents actually started it. When I grew up, we traveled a lot for vacations, and in fact, I've seen all 50 states except for Washington.
No way. So you've been to Alaska, Hawaii, but skip out on Washington?
Yeah, I actually, when I did my trip of a lifetime to Alaska, I was supposed to go do a stopover in Washington, but it was switched to my flight, and so it was nonstop from California to Alaska, so I missed Washington.
That is amazing. I love that, Carrie. The trip of a lifetime. I want to take one of those trips of a lifetime, too.
So we got a text from Lauren, and Lauren said, Liz, can I please hear the whole song? LOL, because I've got several kiddos.
Is there more than that one lyric?
Well, I would make it up kind of on the fly. That's the only thing that stayed the same. And I don't know why, but it kind of went with the chorus. And so I always sang that part of it, but then I would make up
You'd
other...
improv the rest of the song you sang to your kids about bacon.
Right. To where we were at the time, or what we were seeing, or where we were going, or what they were doing. And so I would just make up the lyrics. So use that as the chorus line, and then make up the rest to that tune.
Look at that. Liz is a songwriter.
I don't think that one's selling out.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
What you do when you're road tripping. You know, summer vacation is weeks away, and if things open back up, thankfully, you know?
I'm so happy about that, but you got to be creative as a parent because the kids get bored really, really quickly.
Even with a device in their hand.
Oh, sure.
I thought it was God's gift to have a DVD in the car that you strapped onto the seat because it's like, are we there yet? No, 2 more movies and we'll be there.
Yeah, 2 more. Isn't that funny that we do count it down like, okay, 2 movies and we will be at the destination.
Toy Story 2 more times. Boom. We got it. Watch, there's a scratch on the DVD. I'm so sorry.
Oh, or a bump.
Yeah, and then you got to, and then you stop for a potty break and have to start the movie all over again and find the spot. Oh, that was irritating.
And hear those songs again.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so Lynn, 800-447-7234. What did you do when you do the road trip? How do you pass the time?
When our daughter was young, she started noticing a little dot of light that would be reflected off my husband's watch whenever we going on the road. And we discovered that he could move where the little dot of light was going around the roof of the car, and we called it Dot. And so every time we'd get into the car, we'd be looking for Dot. And where's Dot? And Dot got bigger, Dot got littler. And it was just so much fun that Dot followed us wherever we went on every road trip.
That is the cutest. I love it. You should still pull out Dot today.
And I love that it's so unique to your family. It's something they'll always remember.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Things are starting to open back up. Oh, thankful for that. So here's the question. What would your reconnection to remember look like since this pandemic thing has separated so many people, but yet now reunions are starting to happen? What would yours look like? 800-447-7234. Text the word reconnection to his radio.
Yeah, Monica said, my best friend is Louisa. She's Italian. She moved from Boston to D.C., and I think that's where they connected. And then we're able to see her family where they are. But they both had little ones. They were best friends. Well, I guess she moved back to Italy, which has been completely shut down for a good long time. And Monica said, really what we want is a Zoom date, kind of without the kids maybe as the distraction, just the 2 of them so they can cut up and just hang out like besties again.
That's a simple one.
It really is.
Isn't
simple. Because me, I'm like, I want to send you to Italy so that you can see your best friend.
Maybe.
You never know.
Reconnection to remember. What would yours look like? Mm-hmm. Text the word reconnection to 800-447-7234. You can go to hisradio.com or tap on the My His Radio app.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
If that's like your jam, you really love Lauren Daigle
Yeah.
on his radio. Brian Sumner during the lunch hour is going to have Lauren Daigle on during the lunch hour.
I cannot wait to hear
Yeah.
her.
So your ham sandwich, your Subway, your spaghetti, your Big Mac, whatever it is, you'll be able to chomp on that and listen to Brian and Lauren Daigle coming up later this afternoon during the lunch hour, right on his radio. Things are starting to open up, which is really nice, and some people have been waiting to travel over to Europe, and JetBlue said, hey, near the end of August, or beginning of August, I think. They said, we're going to go back to London. So JetBlue, at least you can pop on one of those planes and fly on over there. They're going to leave like from New York.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure. A couple of flights out of New York to Heathrow and is it Gatwick? I think it is.
Yeah.
In London. But so a lot of the European countries were, I think, even harder hit than America. And so they've taken a little bit longer to take those restrictions and, get rid of them. But looks like late summer, things are starting to open
I
up.
wonder if they have one to Paris, because Liz has planned a trip to Paris for a long time. You guys been saving your money for this.
We have. So our 15th anniversary, Joey, and I started talking about going to Europe, and we're coming up on our 22nd anniversary. And so it's got to happen, right? We've been waiting a while.
Joey, you make me look bad. I
Oh.
just had my 30th.
Well, but it depends on what you and Amy want
And what
to
did we do? We sat at home and ate hamburgers.
But you're going out, aren't you? You're going to do something, and still, but it's what you want to do.
Joey, you're bringing your wife, Liz, to Paris.
I can hear
I
him.
took mine to Wendy's.
No, I can hear him in the car
What's
right
wrong
now
with me?
going, Rob, you have no idea. She nagged me for 7 years.
Oh, yeah. But he's
Just
still
take her.
doing it.
Yeah,
Enjoy.
he's
Get
a
on
good
your
man.
JetBlue and go.